I'm curious if you have any commentary on the Brown. Well, I don't know. Let me think about this because I know that you're cautious in what you comment on, and I respect that. But I guess let me ask it this way: I'm curious as to your reaction to the reaction of what's happened. I mean, fine if you want to not touch the indictment or the lack thereof or the policing or the racism or whatever, but the response of what I would say a lot of is your generation. Their response to this situation, take your personal opinion of whether or not you think the police should go to jail or they shouldn't or they whatever. Like, we'll take that out of it. Just the response that people are having, this whole burn the world down response. Where do you land on that?
Well, if you're, I don't know what specifically you're referring to.
Well, there's just this overwhelming response from the general millennial population, or the next one down, or not the next one down, probably, to, like, there's no common sense, like there's no logic. I mean, grand jury, like, there's evidence, there's whatever. The reality is, no matter what you think should happen, the law, the way that it is written and the way that it works, decided those cops were not guilty of a crime. Thus, they went about their and so this overwhelming response now to abolish the police, and then there were 2 cops shot last night, and just this craziness of a response. Like, where do you land on that? Because you're such a logical person. Like, you don't operate from emotion. You rarely operate from emotion, right? And so I don't know. I'm just curious how you see this response playing out. Like, because I don't get it.
I think it's natural to see all this and want some level of reform. Sure. Obviously, I think that abolishing the police, that's
ignorant,
a very extreme position, to say the least. But I think all reform options should be on the table in some form. And what you're seeing is people, even though the law did play out, people are saying, well, let's change the law then. Because I think the instinct...
But see, I don't think they're saying that, and that's what I wanted you to get to.
Mm-hmm.
They're not saying let's change the law. That's not their point. They want chaos. They want to snap magic fingers and things to be different. They're also approaching... You said something. You said, looking at all of this, I can understand how people might want to feel a certain type of way or want to... But when you say that and you say, consider, and we got a phone call coming in, Will, but considering what are you talking about, the systemic racism? Or are you talking about, because I don't know that that's classification point A, and I probably don't agree with it. I don't think there is systemic racism personally. But that being said, that's just one man's opinion. We've had a black president, for the love of God. I mean, black people in this country have the opportunity. Now, that being said, how many times have I said I've lived in the majority my entire life, mm-hmm. right? And so I'm the first one to say I don't understand and I don't know, and I do want to hear. But when you say that, they're not really asking for the law to change. They're asking for, or it's just chaos, and that's that was kind of where I wanted to go with it. Was, I think what you're saying is the right thing to say. Like, okay, great. You know how much. This morning, even, we were talking about a situation that we've got a gap in our setup. The way that we go about this show, there's a hole in getting video from the show cut and edited and then distributed in different channels. And both of us, very quickly, instead of just complaining about that's unfair, that's not right, that's, how do we get it's okay, great. How do we fix that problem?
Yeah, exactly.
That's the conversation that we need to be having. And my problem with the response is it's got nothing to do with fixing the problem. There's no one out there. Let me back up. That's not fair. There are people, but very few people are out there saying, here's how we need to fix this problem. Or here's the conversation I'd like to have to fix this problem. Does that make sense?
I think a lot of people are saying that it's just that their solutions are very out there. And I think that's kind of a natural result of a click-based marketplace. Everything's got to be so extreme and sensationalized that the most radical solutions to these type of problems are going to be the ones that attract the most steam, because there's when you see all this and it's so dramatized to be, the major crisis that's defining the country at the time, you're going to want to go for the most radical solution you can, the one that is the most effective step you could possibly take, the one that's
in your mind.
Yeah, in your mind. Yeah. So I think it's natural for that to be the thing that people gravitate toward when they so strongly link emotion and urgency to this, when I don't necessarily know if it's all there.
That's a good word. Man, that's a good word right there.